Hey guys, TommyBoy601, and today we're going to be talking about Destiny and the latest weekly update to come out and all the weapon changes that are going to be released with the Taken King. Now, if you haven't read through the latest weekly update, they noted that there will be huge weapon changes on the way with the Taken King, and let's dive into them because from what I can tell, there's some good, but there's also a lot of bad in there. For me, the changes are a bit of a disappointment because instead of making other weapons better in order to balance it, it seems that Bungie is just trying to nerfing the couple of standout weapons so that everyone is on a equally or shittier playing field instead of just elevating all of the other guns. So let's dive into the good. First off, auto rifles will hopefully be relevant again. Yes, ever since that 1.1.1 update where they completely nerfed all the auto rifles, it looks like we're going to be making some big changes that are going to end up completely changing how auto rifles work. Or not completely changing, but definitely making them way more effective than they currently are. Some of those things include increasing the base damage, starting the damage fall off closer to the player so it emphasizes the role of a close to medium range weapon. There's going to be a small reduction to base stability, so that way you're always going to want to play it close, and also there's going to be a boost of 10% in PvE. Now, pulse rifles, they're not getting too big of a change. They're just going to reduce the base damage of the medium rate of fire by about 2.5%, so not very big at all. And there's going to be a small reduction to base stability, so a burst should still land all the shots at optimal range, but 3 hits will require more control to land consistently. And they're going to increase the magazine size for all base inventory stats, so that means you hopefully will be able to take out more adds in PvE, and also maybe actually be able to take out 2 Guardians in one clip in PvP, because they always seem to just take all your ammo just to kill one dude. Scout rifles are also getting a little bit of a change, but it's not very big. They're going to increase the base damage from medium to high rate of fire scout rifles, and they're going to increase the magazine size again. But they're not doing anything really with damage other than adding a 5% boost in PvE. Hand cannons, now this is where we're going to see a bit of a nerf, and it's kind of a letdown, but it's understandable. First, the start damage fall off is closer to the player to limit the long range ability of them. There's going to be a small reduction to ADS accuracy, making it more shoot for a close range weapon, so this way, if you want a slow, high damage weapon for long range, you're going to want to go with a scout rifle, but if you want it for short range, it's going to be a hand cannon, and that medium range will be able to be used by both those weapon types. There's also going to be a reduced final accuracy from when firing from the hip. Fast firing from hip is going to be a lot less reliable. There's going to be a reduced magazine size for all the base inventory stats. Now, in order to emphasize this more shorter range ideal, they're going to reduce the zoom on all the optics for hand cannons. Another category seeing a nerf, sadly, is the shotguns. I'm kind of disappointed with this because in PvP they probably needed a little tweaking, but PvE, I don't get why they're going to take away shotgun's power. They're meant, if you're going to risk going up close, I want to have the confidence I'm going to kill someone. So what they're doing is, as far as PvP goes, they're going to reduce shot package accuracy buff by 30%, which is huge. And rangefinder, another one of those perks that was really big on adding range, is being reduced from 20% down to 5% increase in range, which is a huge nerf, which means we are probably not going to see the across the room shotgunning that we've come to see in PvP, which is really nice because it gets really fucking annoying all the time seeing that. Now, these next two are kind of, I hate these nerfs. They're going to reduce the precision damage multiplier on shotguns by 10%, and they're going to reduce the damage against AI combatants. Those are straight PvE nerfs, and I'd really hate that they're doing that because I love playing PvE, and just to reduce my weapons for shiggle's sake sucks. Fusion rifles are getting a buff because previously they were good at medium range, and then after these current patches they kind of fizzled out because everyone moved over to shotgun, so they're going to see a little bit of a buff while shotguns see a nerf, hopefully bring them back into relevance. Snipers are pretty much leaving exact same, and rocket launchers, they're just getting slight increase in blast radius, and the grenades and horseshoes proximity detonation is going to be reduced. So those are the general weapon changes, but then Bungie has also decided to dive in and do changes to exotic weapons, and this is where some controversy is going to come up, because some of these things are huge nerfs to these weapons, and some of them are deserved. I'm looking at you, Thorn, I'm looking at you. And you look at them and you're going, why are you doing this? This weapon was a skill-based weapon, and if I wanted to get these exotic buffs from it, I had to be a very skilled player, and now you're taking it away, and you're making the skill gap close a lot, and that doesn't feel right to the people who have sunk hours and hours into learning a weapon. Let's dive into the buffs that some of the exotics are getting, and then we'll dive into those nerfs. So, buffs. Hard light. Now, that's one of those exotic auto rifles which you probably have never used because 1, auto rifles have sucked, and 2, because there wasn't much of a reason to use hard light. But now, what they're doing is they're increasing the stability from 65 to 80 on it, increasing the count. So what hard light's exotic effect is that if you miss a shot, the bullets will go through and bounce around and hopefully hit someone else, kind of like that one gun from Jak 2 and 3 on PlayStation, if you ever played the Jak and Daxter series. But instead of being a single shotgun, it's rapid fire, which seems like it could be really cool to work with. And the other thing is hard light projectiles are not going to be affected by damage fall off. So how auto rifles will now see that heavy damage fall off, hard light will not. So this could be a very good gun for medium range PvP play, and that could be really good to see. Another one we're seeing a buff to is the Necrochasm, because let's face it, no one really uses it because it's a piece of garbage and you have to go through a lot to get this piece of garbage that you're ultimately just letting sit and rot in your vault. So what they're doing with the Necrochasm is they're buffing the stability from 40 to 60, they're increasing the mag size. Cursebringer perk will always trigger on a precision kill, and Cursebringer Explosion has increased the radius and deals more damage. So that means every time you get a headshot, people are going to explode, and that explosion's radius is bigger and does more damage. Another buff we are seeing is to the No Land Beyond. If you don't know what the No Land Beyond is it's that old, like, anti-tank looking rifle that's a primary sniper that doesn't have a scope but still has scope glint. Yeah, that one. The one you've probably only seen used in YouTube montage videos and otherwise just left on the side because it's utter garbage in PvE, and only people who like to make YouTube videos use it in PvP. So what they're doing to buff this gun is increase the weapon handling speed for faster time to aim, ready, and stow. They're adjusting the sights to fix the overlap and parallax issues. They're increasing the time delay of the master to 8 seconds, and they're adding an additional 20% precision damage bonus while the master is activated. So what's going to do with these buffs is really emphasize the ability to get a headshot and keep that precision damage. And if you're able to land those precision headshots, especially on the big guys, it means you're going to do really well. The final buff we're seeing for the exotics is with the Lord of Wolves. The Lord of Wolves is that automatic shotgun that you get for completing the bounties after you kill Skolos. One of its abilities, it gives +3 recovery, which they're going to triple that recovery from 3 to 9. So what this is going to do is, if you like to play as a support role character, this is going to be the gun for you, allowing your teammates to heal up really quickly and let everyone keep in battle. Now, time to dive into those nerfs, those horrible, horrible nerfs that we're seeing. Actually, the first nerf is completely warranted. It's Thorn, because 25% of Crucible players are using it, which means it is way too powerful, and what they're going to do to decrease its effectiveness in PvP is they're going to reduce the base damage of Thorn's Mark of the Devourer, the thing that ticks away at your health and doesn't let you recover, by 1/3, which is a lot. So that's going to go from 7 to like 2 if I'm doing maths right, or 2.3 or something like that. And it's going to allow that mark to be stacked. So every time you hit someone, it'll allow you to stack the damage up to 5 times. So what this does is, if you're in PvE and you're hitting a big guy and you're hitting a boss that takes a couple of damage, it's going to allow the mark to really whittle down on his health and make it a more effective PvE weapon, while simultaneously in PvP making it not as effective. So It's a really good way of balancing out what's been seen as an overpowered weapon in Crucible and making it balanced for both PvP and PvE. This next gun, while it has been just as controversial as the Thorn, I don't think it warranted the nerfs it's getting. It's the last word. The last word has the fastest time to kill of any primary in the game. If you land 2 headshots, you are going to smoke someone. They are down before they even realize what you've done. But in order to do that, this high recoil gun, you needed a huge amount of skill to do that. But Bungie has decided in their infinite wisdom that enough is enough, and first off, it's getting all of those hand cannon nerfs that we saw earlier. In addition, it's reducing the range stat to 10, so they're halving the range stat, and they're reducing the stability also by 10 down to 20. They're reducing the effective range while in ADS, but they are increasing accuracy and precision damage when firing from the hip. So they're really emphasizing that fire from the hip aspect of this gun, which, while cool and all, as it currently stands, any range where you would have wanted to hip fire this gun, you can get taken out by a shotgun. So if they don't nerf the shotguns correctly, well, it's actually my first exotic I ever got, will now be useless to me. Other nerfs we're seeing is Hawkmoon will no longer be able to get that crazy one-hit kill bullet, which is kind of sad because I'm on Xbox and I'm never going to know the power of an exotic one-shot Hawkmoon, and that really sucks. Another major nerf is Icebreaker. I don't think I've ever heard anyone complain that Icebreaker is too powerful. You only get 5 shots, and it took 5 seconds to get 1 shot, and you never spawned back with ammo when you died with it, so it seemed really balanced, but Bungie decided to fuck with it anyways, so now they're increasing it to 1 round every 8 seconds, and that means over time you're probably going to end up doing about 40% less damage with the Icebreaker because you're going to have that much less ammo. And that's a huge nerf to this gun. Another one, which isn't an exotic, but is still a huge nerf and is also really annoying because you needed to be skilled in order to get this buff, is that Black Hammer will no longer have infinite ammo. The White Nail perk will no longer kind of give you infinite ammo. So what this meant was, if you were a skilled shot, you could go into a PvE encounter and just lay waste to the entire group and just nail those precision damage shots and not lose a single bit of ammo, making you feel like a motherfucking god. What it also did is, if you had the bullet sponges, which Bungie insists on putting in this game, if you were able to nail their weak spot consistently, you could rip through a boss battle, which felt really good. So as a reward for beating Crota, you actually got a gun that was legendary, that felt exotic, and it was something that I loved doing because I'm terrible at sniping in PvP, but in PvE, I'm great, and I can sit back and I can learn the patterns of an enemy and pull the trigger at the right time and be effective with a fire team. But Bungie decided it's time for it to go, and that brings us to our last nerf, and it's Galley. Yes, Gala Horn, the one and true great rocket launcher in this game, is seeing a pretty big nerf to its wolf rounds, the wolf pack rounds. The wolf rounds are, of course, not the primary damage, but those secondary ghost-looking things that come out and start to seek their targets. Those are getting a reduce in damage, and that's what gave Galley the huge damage that it does over Truth. So what I think Bungie is going to end up doing is kind of balancing it to where Truth is as far as an exotic rocket launcher goes. So yeah, those are all the big changes to come to Destiny. I know this was a long video. If you liked it, comment, rate, subscribe, do all those fun YouTube things down below. My name is TommyBoy601. I hope you liked this video. See ya.